So I can't believe it's Wednesday already. And it's really funny because yesterday I was meeting up with someone I know, and her reaction was like, "Oh my, is it only Wednesday?" So obviously it all depends on our view of things, and a perspective changes everything. But sometimes, and we know this also, but applying it in real life can sometimes be a bit tricky. And already this week, I have asked the question, are you a half full, half empty person? What does it take to change that? But today, I wanted to talk about something slightly different because something came up in a session I had this morning, and I thought it's a really interesting way of looking at it. So basically, a lot of focus obviously in our world is about receiving things. We want to receive everything. We want to receive what we kind of perceive is rightfully ours. But what if nothing, what if nothing and everything is rightfully ours at the same time? And what if we change the way that we look at receiving, turn that on its head and make it more about actually making space in order to receive? So this is often true when, and those of you who've been following me for a while, I've done clutter clearing challenges and feng shui focuses, and often when we talk from that perspective, it's about like clearing your house in order to make room for all the new things. But this does not just apply in a house or a feng shui setting. It really applies to all of life. So, what if, for example, we are talking about healing? And healing can obviously, again, be on many different levels. Maybe we're talking physical healing, maybe we are talking healing limiting beliefs or healing old stories. What if, in order to receive, it's not actually about the process, but about making room? And I will share a lovely little quote. It's not so much about the getting, but as letting go of that which isn't you. And the whole quote basically goes: healing may not be so much about getting better as about letting go of everything that isn't you. And it's from Rachel Remen. And I love that, because what if all of our ideas of having to be in a certain way is actually what's restricting our view? And whether that is, again, talking, maybe about the house, bringing it down to the everyday level with hygge, you could say, oh, I can't get my hygge set up right. Well, what about letting go, first of all those things that maybe are not really aligned with you, and then it becomes easier. If we're talking like a healing perspective, it could be like letting go of ideas and maybe even values that you've been living by that are not aligned with who you are. By letting go of that, we're actually finding back to what really matters, which is what is truly ours, what is truly uniquely us. And therein, in that process alone, we not only shift the perspective, but we also shift the way that we perceive the world and the way we interact with the world. So if all of this is slightly philosophical and out there, please bear with me, and ask any questions, obviously. And I still wanted to talk about it because often we find that we know, like we know on an intellectual level that we maybe have all stories and maybe we've dealt with them, and maybe we've journaled on them, and maybe we've had therapy, and maybe you've had XY said therapies and coaching sessions all rolled into one. And we're still not really applying it in real life. But then when we actually just change the perspective of how we're approaching it, instead of it kind of being something outside of us that like that needs healing, and turn it around and realize that maybe it's not about healing the wound, but about letting go of the old stories, the old scripts, the old values that were not really yours to start with, but that you picked up along the way, because we all do. We all pick up things. We all pick up bad habits, and often it starts from a really, really young age. But what if we can turn the tables on that and let it go? Then how can we change the narrative and also the way that we experience life and go through the world? So, my question to you today will be like, how will you change that narrative? How can you make that apply to you? Are you going to use it on a practical level, maybe with hygge in the home? Are you going to use it on a mindset level, where we're thinking about maybe changing um, the monkey mind, bad values, or values that are not aligned with us, because I shouldn't call them bad, really. Or maybe it will be on a physical level. Maybe it will be on a business level, because it also very much applies in a business context. Sometimes we can get very hung up in our mindset ways and think that it's only on us, for us on a personal level, when in fact it very much goes through everything that we do, and also how we show up at work, and how we interact with the world around us, especially clients and so on. So I'd be curious to hear how that resonates with you today, and how you could possibly in, integrate it. That little shift, that very all important way of looking at things, that instead of the getting it, that we're letting go in order to receive. And not even so much with the expectation of receiving, but just lightening our burden, because at the end of the day, we came here with very little bad baggage, but it all accumulates as we go through life. And as we all know, less is more. And that's also what enriches the lives, and our experience of life. So I will leave you with those words, and I hope you have a fabulous week ahead. And yeah, drop me a comment below. Let me know how and if this resonates with you, and how you can incorporate it. Take care, and I will see you soon.